2 years ago, I made a video on this topic. Should you use cash or CPF to pay for your housing loan? And in that video, I discussed my points and reasoning and, gave like a two-sided approach on how you can make your own decision. And 2 years later, I still watched that video again and the points are still relevant, And in that video, I mentioned that I'll make a decision 2 years later, which is today, because I finally collected my HDB BTO keys and made a final decision whether to use cash or CPF to pay for my housing loan. I also want to recap some points with some updated information. So that's the purpose of today's video, to show you what is the decision I made and what was my reasoning behind it. But before this, I just want to address some key issues on this question. First of all, there is no single best way. Each individual person have their own personal situations that is very different from other people. So my situation may be highly different from your situation. And I'm not trying to persuade you to become my side and say that my opinion is correct, because mine is definitely right for my own reason and yours may be right for your own reason. Don't need to compare. The main purpose is really just to show both sides of the argument. Then from these arguments and discussion, right, you make your own decision. You do what is best for you. You don't need to follow me. And if you want to join like-minded people interested in building their personal finance, especially on housing matters, investing matters, retirement matters, then come and join us at over 17,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram group for free. Now, before we answer the question directly, I think the main discussion topic should be, why is there even a need to discuss cash versus CPF? And if you are in a situation where your cash is not enough, you need your CPF to supplement, or the other way around, your CPF, even after using all the OA funds, is not enough for your monthly mortgage, then you need to top up cash. Then it's not a question anymore, right? Because you don't even have enough funds to finish the mortgage. Of course, you need to use both, but the situation is more like, if you can choose either one, which means your monthly CPF is enough to pay the mortgage, also your monthly cash flow is enough to pay the mortgage, which one can you choose? So you are in a privileged option selection position. Because really if you're not enough to pay from either one, there's really no need to discuss. You have to use both already, especially when now property prices keep hitting all-time high. Then your monthly mortgage may be really expensive to maintain. So it's really for those people who have the option to choose between cash or CPF. Let's make it very clear. Now, to understand whether cash or CPF, right, I think you need to understand this concept called accrued interest. And I know that many people are very afraid of accrued interest because of what you hear online, what you see online. So I'm here to really debunk the myth and make clarification so you don't misunderstand. Now, why accrued interest exists is because CPF fundamentally is to be used for your retirement funds, is to build your retirement nest egg, correct? So if you put your money quite in the CPF, every year the CPF board will pay you interest according to the prevailing CPF interest rate, which is 2.5% in OA and a minimum of 4% in SA or MA. Recently, I heard the interest rate for SA raised to 4.14% from 4th quarter onwards, so good news. But anyway, the focus is not on SA. Let's talk about OA. So the government allows you to take your OA out and pay for your property, whether for down payment or repayment of mortgage. So you see, you are taking out your money from your own CPF account, which means that you cannot build your retirement funds, right? So if you cannot build your retirement funds, the government or CPF board is not going to pay you interest. You have to top up your own interest back, especially when you sell away your property. All the money, the proceeds will go to paying the accrued interest first. Correct or not? Because your money could sit there quite and earn interest, but you took out and it cannot compound. So it's like to punish you take out your own money because it's supposed to be your retirement funds, but use it for housing, reasonable, right? And let's make this very clear. When you pay accrued interest back, it's back to your own CPF account. It doesn't pay to anyone else. It's not the bank, it's not the government, it's to your own CPF account, which means that whatever you pay back, you can use it on your next property. Or if you don't use it for your next property, it could be part of your retirement funds when you turn 55. So let's make this clear. Accrued interest is not like somewhere where it's gone forever. Okay, it's back to your own CPF account. Don't worry. Okay, pay accrued interest is okay one. If you are starting to invest in US markets, here are 3 reasons why you should choose Webull. Firstly, low commissions. Webull pricing is super competitive. From just 50 US cents per order with 0 platform fees during both regular and extended hours. Lower cost equals to more savings in the long run. Secondly, no foreign exchange fees. Webull does not charge any currency exchange or conversion fees, again lowering your cost of investing. Number 3. Regular savings plan. You can invest automatically in your favorite US stocks, ETFs with as little as $5 US. You can also set the frequency and let RSP automate investing for you. Now that is true passive investing. Also, did I mention that new to Webull users can get all these welcome promo rewards? For Moneybull, when you fund $2,000 US, you will get 1 coupon of 30 days of 1.83% interest booster. For fund and trade promo, fund minimum $2,000 US by 31st October 2024. complete 3 US trades within 30 days from the first deposit and maintain until 30th November 2024. And you will get $60 US cash voucher. If you fund a minimum $10,000 US by 31st October, complete 5 US buy trades within 30 days from the first deposit and maintain until 31st December 2024, you will get $350 US cash voucher. There is also an options trading promo for both new and existing users, where if you trade a minimum of 100 US options contracts monthly, the fees will be reimbursed when you fulfill the criteria. Also, Webull does not charge platform fees. Start trading with Webull by using my exclusive link or scan the QR code right here to get your Webull account today. Okay, so coming back to main topic, right? When should you use CPF to pay for a property? There are a few reasons. When you have low cash balance, you should use CPF to pay your property, because your cash can only be used for your daily expenses already. You cannot use CPF for daily expenses, right? Like your positive cash flow is only like $1,000 per month. You need to spend on daily lifestyle expenses already. Then your CPF used to pay property, okay? If not, your $1,000 used to pay mortgage, then how? Your daily lifestyle don't need to spend. Second reason to use CPF is when your cash can generate better returns. Now, you see your CPF OA gives you 2.5% per annum interest, right? But let's say if you're not using your CPF OA, which means your OA no need to use, can transfer to SA, right? And SA give you how much interest? At least 4% per annum. So if you think your investing returns can make at least 4% per annum, which beats the CPF SA, then I think you have a use case for CPF lah. Especially if you look at the S&P 500 index for the past 5 years, it has generated more than 80% return. But that's before factoring inflation, so point to note. So if you're using CPF to pay, right, let's give you a very simple exercise. I'm going to use a Property Guru mortgage calculator. So at 300,000 loan, at 2.6 per annum loan rate with CPF payment and a 25-year tenor, your monthly mortgage calculator will be $1,360 per month. So how do you calculate whether you can afford the right property or not? I'm going to give you a quick math calculation. So combined income $6,000. 23% assuming you're 35 and below. So 23% multiplied by 6,000 will give you $1,380 in your OA. So your $1,380 can cover the $1,360 already, right? Which means zero cash outlay. Very important if you don't want to touch your cash. So through this calculation, I discovered a magic formula, But this only works for 25-year loan tenor with 2.6% per annum HDB loan rate. So if you are doing like private property and you have varying interest rate, then this calculation will not work. So how this works is that you use your monthly combined income for the people who are paying for the house and multiply by 50. For example, 6,000 Singapore dollars, you multiply by 50. That will be $300,000, right? So that will be the maximum loan that you can afford. If you don't believe me, you can try out yourself on this Property Guru mortgage calculator. You go and try with your loan amount of 500,000 or 400,000. Then just use your monthly combined income multiplied by 50. That will be a good affordable range. So if it's above, then you likely have to tap on some cash lah. So coming back, when should you use cash to pay for your housing loan? I think you should use cash for the following scenarios. Number one is when you do not invest at all. That means that your cash is all safe in bank, earning like close to 0% per annum interest rate. Then it's better to at least let your CPF compound at 2.5% in the OA and 4% in the SA, right? In fact, you could transfer your OA to SA to earn that 4% interest, which is much better than what banks are giving you right now. Number two reason that you should use cash is that you are really uncomfortable with accrued interest. Even all this that I have explained in the first paragraph of this video, that you're still afraid lah. You just don't want to loogie on the accrued interest. Okay, then you can use cash to pay. Number three reason where you should use cash is quite relatable to this channel one, is when you can get some rewards like cashback or miles when paying your mortgage through third-party payment processors like CutUp or iPayMite. Sounds like a new idea, right? But I'll touch more about it later. So my very own plan for deciding what to use for housing loan payments is that I almost wanted to use cash to pay. Why? You see, I intended to pay for my housing loan using CutUp or iPayMite because I could earn some cashback, especially with the Maybank Platinum Visa card, which is giving 3.33%, and it's one of the eligible cards to earn cashback on iPayMite or CutUp. So if I were to use one of the recurring promo codes, which is recurring 185, that gives you a 1.85% fee of cost, then the net benefit is just 3.33% cashback minus 1.85% fees, which means I could still get a 1.48% net gain, which is positive, right? So I should go with cash payment. In fact, if you're new to CutUp or iPayMite, I also have my exclusive new user links that you could sign up to get your first payment free up to $30 of fees. But the matter of fact is, I already maxed out my Maybank Platinum Visa card monthly because I use this card to pay for business expenses. And that is either through CutUp or iPayMite depending on the promo code. So you see the max $2,000 per month spent on Maybank Platinum Visa to get 3.33% I already use it to pay business salary, so I don't need to mix it out anymore. Which means unless I have a separate Maybank Platinum card, I cannot use it on housing loan anymore. So there's no more net benefit of 1.48%. So the ultimate strategy was that I'm using CPF OA to pay currently, and I will incur the accrued interest. But I just want to highlight that even if you have chosen CPF to pay, on the CPF or HDB dashboard, you can also adjust how much you want to pay from CPF and how much you want to pay from HDB. And all this can be done online. No need to submit any form. Now very convenient already. So in one day, if I really want to change my decision, I could still do so quite conveniently. So to sum up this video, I have decided to use CPF OA to pay for my housing loan mortgage. But I would have used cash to pay, especially if I didn't have to use card or iPayment to pay business salary. And the reason is because I'm also comfortable with the way how accrued interest works. And with my CPF special account already at full retirement sum, there's really no need to worry about accrued interest. But because whatever accrued interest that I pay back, I reach a full retirement sum already, I can withdraw them above 55 watt. But some of you may not even understand what this CPF full retirement sum is and how does it work, what does it benefit. Then maybe I should do an update on the benefits of reaching full retirement sum. So you can comment FRS+1 if you want a clearer update on how this CPF FRS works. But in the meantime, if you were in a situation like me, you're waiting for your HDB BTO keys collection, what should you prepare? And whether you should use your CPF to pay or not, then you should watch my previous video where I will prepare you what you should do before your HDB key collection right here.